just going to do the southeast states. Okay?
West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida.
All right. Are you supposed to be doing that right now? No. You're supposed to be doing this with us. That's what you're supposed to be doing with us. Let's do it again.
West Virginia, Virginia, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia.
Okay. If I have to do this again because you're still not doing it with us, I'm going to give you a tally.
Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Louisiana, Arkansas.
All right. Let's start on page 140. Stop and think. John Adams told his wife that our nation's independence should, oh, we did that yesterday, didn't we? Oh, we did all of page 140. You know what, I'm gonna read it again because evidently I was supposed to stop after the stop and think. But this that I read yesterday goes with what we're learning today. So I need you to just bear with me as I read it again. We're on page 140. Our hands should not be on our heads, holding our heads up. The Constitution of the United States. John Adams had some very good ideas about government. He has been called the architect and designer of American government. When he wrote down his thoughts on government, people knew that his ideas were what America needed. Mr. Adams said that the government should be ruled by laws and not by men. In order for his plan to work, the three branches of government had certain things they were responsible for. The legislative branch, called Congress, is responsible for making laws. Each state elects 2 people to serve in the Senate. Each state sends a certain number of people according to the size of the state to serve in the House of Representatives. By the way, that's what they were arguing about on the Liberty Kids video today. They were arguing that it was not fair that bigger states and smaller states would get the same representation. These lawmakers work together to make sure the laws in the United States are fair and right. Okay, top of the next page. The executive branch. The executive branch enforces the law. The President of the United States is head of this branch. A vice president and many assistants serve under the president. His assistants are called his cabinet members. The judicial branch. The judicial branch has the job of interpreting the law. The 9 members of the Supreme Court make up this branch. Each member is a judge who has been chosen to serve by the President of the United States and approved by the senators in the legislative branch. The Supreme Court hears very important cases that can bring about changes to our laws. This court uses the Constitution to guide it to the best decisions in each case. The writers of the Constitution knew that each state should also have certain rights and powers to decide some of their own laws. When the new plan of government was written, men from each state signed it, showing that they agreed to everything that had been decided about our new plan of government. By the way, we already saw that was a picture of the Capitol building, and there you see the White House, and at the bottom you see the Supreme Court building. So that will be where the judicial branch. All right, top of the next page. Living in Europe. I hear a lot of noisiness. For people that are supposed to be following along as I read, you're being way too noisy. All right, we're just going to read the top part of this page, Living in Europe, and then we're going to stop there and read Becoming a Leader next week. After he signed the Declaration of Independence, John Adams traveled to France on a ship called the Boston to get support for the Revolutionary War. He took his son, John Quincy Adams, a future president of the United States, with him. At some point on their journey, 3 British man-of-war ships followed behind. If these ships caught up to them, Mr. Adams would be captured and killed because of his efforts for American freedom. The Boston sailed faster as the wind picked up. When darkness came, only one ship was left trailing them. By the next morning, that ship was also gone. John Adams was safe. For the next 10 years, John Adams spent time in Europe working on peace and trade with other countries. He was away from the colonies during the time of the Revolutionary War, but he was working for their freedom. He was one of the signers of the Treaty of Paris, which brought an end to the war. He later became the first minister or ambassador to the country of England. All right, I want you to look. I have written legislative, executive, and judicial on the board. All right, and there's little hints, okay? So, for legislative, I said look on the board, guys. This is the board. Okay, so this is where your eye should be. So legislative starts with a L, and the legislative branch are the lawmakers, which also starts with a L. So legislative, lawmakers, say that. Legislative, lawmakers. Then the executive branch starts with an E, and enforces starts with an E. I'm not going to do 3 lines, because you're going to make me think it's capitalization. I'm not trying to make you think it's capitalized. I'm just trying to see the hint. Executive enforces the law. They both start with E, so that can help you remember that the executive enforces. And then the judicial judges interpret the law. So both of those start with a J. All right, so let's read them. Legislative, lawmakers. Executive, enforces law. Judicial, judges interpret law. All right, so that makes it easier to remember them, doesn't it? All right, now you need to get out your map skills. Map skills 13, quickly please. While you're getting it out, I'm having to let the video run. Map skills 13 is on page 25 in your book. Alright, when you look at it, you're going to see numbers and you're going to write the name of the states. I'm going to erase this so I can write them up here as well. No talking. So number 1, page 25 in your book. So number 1 is this state right here. So what state is that?
West Virginia.
West Virginia. And since they don't have a word bank, I'm going to write it on the board for you. West is capitalized, and then Virginia is capitalized because that is a compound word. 2 different words meaning one place. West Virginia. Right, West Virginia. All right. Number 2 is this state right here.
Kentucky.
Don't say that. Number 2 is what?
Kentucky.
Kentucky. We are not going to say that every time just because I gave that to you for a hint. Kentucky. Yes.
Isn't Kentucky Fried Chicken a restaurant?
Yeah, it's KFC now. They don't call it Kentucky Fried Chicken because they don't want to remind you that it stands for fried. Because fried foods are not good, so they call it KFC. But it used to be called Kentucky Fried Chicken. But you know it as KFC. Alright, number 3 is this one right here.
Virginia.
What?
Virginia.
Okay, let's say it again the right way.
Virginia.
Yes, just say Virginia. Alright, I've already written Virginia once, so you should know how to spell it, but I'm gonna write it again because number 3 is Virginia. Virginia in West Virginia and Virginia in just regular Virginia are spelled the same way. Okay, please stop playing with your sweater. You should have hung it up when you came in the rain. Just put it on the back of your chair and get busy writing neatly. Alright? Next is number 4, and that is this one right here.
Tennessee.
Very good. Tennessee. Please pay attention because Tennessee has 2 N's and then 2 S's and then 2 E's on the end. So Tennessee. Tennessee. So 2 N's, 2 S's, and then 2 E's on the end. Alright, so we got West Virginia and Virginia. We've already did Kentucky and Tennessee. Now we're gonna do this one. This
North
one is
Carolina.
North Carolina. North Carolina is also a compound word made up of the word north and the word Carolina. So again, you need to capitalize both North and Carolina. Both North and Carolina. Alright, and then for number 6, they skipped all the way over to this one. Arkansas. Very good. That is Arkansas. And if you see the word Arkansas, it does not look like Arkansas. It looks like Arkansas.
Sauce.
No, it looks like Arkansas. There is another state that is Kansas. Have you heard of Kansas before? Alright, well, this is the way you spell Kansas. So it looks like A-R and the word Kansas, but it is just one word. And it's not pronounced Arkansas, it's pronounced Arkansas. Alright. And then number 7 is this one.
Louisiana.
Yes, Louisiana. And you need to stop talking, whoever is talking. Alright, Louisiana. I'll move out of the way as soon as I write it. Okay, you just need to be patient. I understand, I've got to stand there to write it, and I'll move as soon as I can. Leslie.
When you do the southeast regions, you do Louisiana and then go Arkansas. It sounds like one whole state, Louisiana, Arkansas.
Yeah, but it's not. This one's Louisiana, and this one is Arkansas. Remember, the hint I gave you was LA, Louisiana, Arkansas. Number 8. Number 8 is this one.
Mississippi.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put my number 8 up at the top. No, I'm not. I can't, because otherwise the camera won't be able to see it. So I'm putting number 8 here, and I'm gonna have to erase them in a minute. Alright, Mississippi is M-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. It has a lot of double consonants too, just like Tennessee did. Although Tennessee had 2 double consonants and a double vowel. This one is lots of I's, but it's M-I-S-S-I-S-S-I-P-P-I. Mississippi. Alright, number 9, Mississippi, Alabama. So number 9 is Alabama. All A's. All A's. Alabama. Alright, anybody need more time on that one? Because I'm going to erase all that we've written. I'm going to put number 10 at the top again. Alright. Actually, I'll leave Alabama down there. Just in case you're not done with Alabama. Alright, so number 10 is Georgia. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Number 10 starts with a G, E, like the word George does. And then I-A, so Georgia, Georgia. Both soft G sounds. Alright, and then they go back up and get this one.
South
Yes. I'm not sure why they did it the way they did it, but number 11 is South Carolina. Again, another compound word, so make sure you capitalize South and capitalize Carolina. And again, Carolina would be spelled the same way as North Carolina, except if it's South instead of North. And then that brings us to number 12,
Florida.
Florida.
where I was born, Florida. And lived most of my life. Oh, geez, well, I'm starting to get to the point where I've lived somewhere else longer.